Hi and welcome to SQE Success, your pathway to becoming an English solicitor. In this question bank series, we'll look at 3 questions on the claim in relation to civil litigation commencement, which falls under dispute resolution in FLK 1. Let's dive in. Here's the first question we tackle today. In a new matter involving a contract dispute, a solicitor acting for the claimant identifies that the limitation period for commencing legal proceedings is about to expire. The claimant has already complied with the relevant pre-action protocol, and now, on the solicitor's advice, decides to proceed to court. Which of the following events will legally stop the clock for the purpose of the limitation period? A. Sending the letter of claim to the defendant. B. The sealed claim form being issued by the court. C. Delivering the claim form and court fee to the court office. D. Collecting the sealed claim form from the court. E. Serving the sealed claim form on the defendant. You can pause the video and think about it. The best answer is B. The sealed claim form being issued by the court. Under English civil procedure law, the limitation period is stopped, that is, legally interrupted, when proceedings are commenced, not when they are completed or served. The key question is, when are proceedings legally considered to have commenced? Section 1(1) of the Limitation Act 1980 states that the limitation period stops running when proceedings are commenced. Under the Civil Procedure Rules (CPR), specifically CPR 7.2, proceedings are commenced when the court issues the claim form, which happens when the court seals it. The moment the court clerk issues the claim form by sealing it, the proceedings officially exist in law. This is the precise moment the limitation clock stops ticking, regardless of what happens afterward. Let's look at another question following the story of the first question. A solicitor acting for a claimant has successfully obtained a sealed claim form from the High Court on January 15, 2024. There are 2 defendants, one is a French company located in Paris, France, and the other is an individual living in Wales. Under the Civil Procedure Rules, by what date must the claimant serve the sealed claim form on the defendants? A. Both defendants must be served by February 15, 2024. B. The defendant in France must be served by April 14, 2024, and the defendant in Wales must be served by July 15, 2024. C. The defendant in France must be served by July 15, 2024, and the defendant in Wales must be served by May 15, 2024. D. Both defendants must be served by July 15, 2024. E. The defendant in Wales must be served by March 15, 2024, and the defendant in France must be served by July 15, 2024. The correct answer, C. The defendant in France must be served by July 15, 2024, and the defendant in Wales must be served by May 15, 2024. Under CPR 7.5(1), where the claim form is served within the jurisdiction, e.g. Wales, it must be served within 4 months of the date of issue. Under CPR 7.5(2), where the claim form is to be served out of the jurisdiction, e.g. France, it must be served within 6 months of the date of issue. Here, the claim form was issued on January 15, 2024, so the Wales defendant must be served by May 15, 2024, 4 months. The France defendant must be served by July 15, 2024, 6 months. Here is the third question with the story going on. A solicitor has successfully served a claim form issued on January 15, 2024 on 2 defendants. The first is a French company located in Paris, served on July 7, 2024. The second is an individual living in Wales, served on January 20, 2024. The claim form contained only brief details of the claim. The solicitor now needs to serve the particulars of claim as a separate document on both defendants. Under the Civil Procedure Rules, by what date must the particulars of claim be served on the defendants? A. The French defendant must be served by July 21, 2024, and the Welsh defendant by February 3, 2024. B. The French defendant must be served by September 7, 2024, and the Welsh defendant by March 3, 2024. C. The French defendant must be served by July 15, 2024, and the Welsh defendant by March 15, 2024. D. The French defendant must be served by July 15, 2024, and the Welsh defendant by February 3, 2024. E. The French defendant must be served by July 21, 2024, and the Welsh defendant by May 15, 2024. The correct answer is D. The French defendant must be served by July 15, 2024, and the Welsh defendant by February 3, 2024. For the Welsh defendant, under CPR 7.4(1)(b), where particulars of claim are not included in the claim form, they must be served within 14 days after service. However, CPR 7.4(2) imposes a backstop. Particulars must also be served no later than the end of the claim form service period, which is 4 months from issue, i.e. by May 15, 2024, under CPR 7.5(1). Since the Welsh defendant was served on January 20, 2024, 14 days later is February 3, 2024, which is earlier than the backstop, so February 3 applies. For the French defendant, particulars would normally be due by 14 days after July 7, 2024, i.e. July 21, 2024. However, CPR 7.4(2) again applies. The particulars must be served no later than the final date for service of the claim form, which is July 15, 2024, i.e. 6 months from issue under CPR 7.5(2). So, July 15, 2024 is the deadline. Summary of the important legal notes. Proceedings are started when the claim form is issued by the court. If the limitation period is about to expire, issuing, not serving, the claim form in time preserves the claimant's position. If the claim form is served within the jurisdiction, England and Wales, it must be served within 4 months of the date of issue. For outside the jurisdiction, 6 months. The deadline for serving particulars of claim is the earlier of A. 14 days after service of the claim form, or B. The end of the permitted period for serving the claim form. Do you enjoy challenging yourself with questions on the same legal topic? Did you notice how a small change in facts, like the defendant's locations, can lead to a completely different legal outcome? That's exactly the kind of skill the SQE tests, and mastering it is essential for exam success. I published books filled with MCQs, each built with 3 variations of a legal scenario to sharpen your analysis and deepen your understanding. It is a must-read to pass SQE 1. Turn your ambition into qualification. Begin your SQE journey to become an English solicitor.